Youth team football. Every season, youngsters get taken on by major clubs and think they're on the road to fame and fortune. But for the few who actually make it first time, there are thousands more for whom the dream ends abruptly. Since 2005, the Pass and Move Elite Soccer School has had great success in giving those rejected youngsters a second chance and latecomers a first opportunity. Joe Spade, who knows a thing or two about rejection, has been to see for himself.
This weekend, all eyes are on Wembley, the venue of dreams for any aspiring footballer. For the fortunate few, the route to Wembley Way is via the academies of the top English teams. But whilst the cream rises to the top, many are sifted away. But it's here, amongst the tried, the tested and the rejected, that those potential starlets of the future are given their second chance.
We stumble into our lives.
Well, this is the Pass and Move Elite Soccer School. And what we do is we take lads who maybe need a second chance, maybe they've been to academies or centres of excellence before and they're no longer with the club, or maybe they just haven't got spotted.
We run an elite course at Bisham Abbey every year where we take the best players we see around the country and we basically trial them here just to make sure they're good enough to get on the course. Once they get to Bisham Abbey, they'll play a showcase match in front of League and Premiership scouts. He's the one that stands out, definitely.
How can you spot a player that quickly? What are you looking for straight off?
I don't know, it's you know, what Simon Cowell I guess would call the X Factor, isn't it?
This is a tale fit for reality TV. Youngsters' hopes raised then dashed when the clubs both big and small wield the axe.
Heartbreaking really. It's sort of like someone saying to you, here's your dream, and you're experiencing it, what it would be like, and then someone to say, no, we don't actually want you.
It was quite sickening first off, you know, because if you think about it, it's kind of a dream down the drain really.
I think he probably got bigger aspirations than Torquay anyways.
But the bigger the club, the greater the chance of being discarded, and the emotional effect can be terminal to a youngster's career.
No one Premiership club in London who've got so many scouts, it's, you know, they've got more scouts than they have supporters. And they just try and get everybody in until they find, you know, a little nugget, a little diamond that they can polish up.
But here there's a week course of training ahead of the big day in the spotlight.
We need to find a certain something.
Today is the best day of your life, because everything else is true.
And for the second time, there's the chance of reaching the top.
I think because it's a big shot for everyone, everyone's looking to impress.
Definitely hoping to be picked up by someone.
This morning when I woke up I really felt nervous and like, you know, today's the day.
Come on, right, come on, let's go. Come on, lads!
Just scratching around for something to believe in.
A lot of them have actually been with clubs, and it could be that we end up seeing something that somebody else doesn't.
You never know, you might find one player out there that's going to really stick out and you're going to go, yeah.
You never know, you might miss one.
There's some good players actually, not too bad at all, but no David Beckham.
One issue for the Scouts is the geographical restrictions imposed by the FA on whom they can recruit. Some don't agree.
In all honesty, there is areas of the country that are not fully covered by the rules, and there's probably one lad here that one of the Kent clubs would take an interest in, but there's not a scout here from that Kent club, and so the kid loses out really.
I thought I was alright, but some of the balls that I remember I should have dealt with.
It does eat away at you if you don't get a phone call, the next day comes, you don't get a phone call, the next day comes, you don't get a phone call, then you start to lose a bit of hope.
It's only the start really with young players. We've still got a couple of years in us before you get to sign professional contracts. We've just got to work hard and keep positive.
This has been a very good one. I think that the standard's been very high this year. We've had a few of the scouts have a little chat with us, so you know, hopefully some of these boys will go on to bigger and better things.
Well, I'm happy to say that after those trials last week, 14 of the 42 players involved have been selected to trial for pro clubs. That's what, 1 in 3. And I'm talking about teams like Man United, Fulham, Newcastle, Reading, QPR, Ipswich and Villa. Eddie, you were making an interesting point that it's better sometimes. We heard the father saying bigger ambitions than Torquay, but sometimes it's better not to go for the big club.
Well, the first thing looking at that there and listening to that is, you know, young lads saying that they've given up hope. You never ever give up hope. It's just one person's opinion or two people's opinion. And, you know, so the world is full of people that have come back from rejection and done brilliant things. But sometimes I think that you might be better off at a smaller club where you get the chance to come through the system and be able to play for whatever reason, financial restrictions, or it's a Torquay. Torquay's a great club for a young kid to go to because it means he's going to get to the first team quicker. So, you know, and a lot of the time parents, you know, they like to tell everybody that their son's at a certain club or an academy, and really, where they're going to be in 5 or 6 years' time. You've got to be very, very special to come through.
One of the big clubs.
The bigger clubs, definitely.
Right. Yeah, indeed. Well, you mentioned the fact you shouldn't give up. It is difficult if you don't get into the loop, but there are plenty of people who've come in later. I mean, plenty of people, I don't know, Ian Wright, etc., Stuart Pearce.
Absolutely, and you know, it will carry on it will happen again and again, where players maybe have to take that step backwards, or they deem it a step backwards, to come forward. I think what you see with those lads there's some who can see their confidence is waning a little, but it's character building. There is a lot of rejection in this game. It's part of the profession, and the ones who have that real strong character, belief and determination to come back again, given the chances, given the opportunities, which obviously this scheme does do for them, then they can emerge again.
Right, you've been involved with youth development at Norwich and West Brom.
Yeah.
I was interested by the quote from Frank Lampard recently, how he complained that there wasn't enough hunger from today's young players. They weren't cleaning the senior players' boots.
Well, that's the first thing I look for is hunger and the right character. And I think Frank's right. You know, and it's not football's problem; it's society's problem. You know, there's too much choice these days. I've started to sound like my dad, which is terrible, but he's right. You know, there is too much choice. You know, my kids go on a Wii and play on a DS, a PSP, whatever it's called.
Right.
You know, when I was a lad, he says at 38, it was a football against a wall, and that's you know, and it was a safer environment, a safer place to live. But
don't worry, the credit crunch is going to take care of it.
I feel terrible. I've just depressed myself there, James.
James, they don't clean boots. They don't wash the floors. They don't pick up kit.
Would that help them?
I think it's character building. You know, Adie's been through it. I've been through it myself. You have a respect for the game of football, and the senior pros made you aware of how lucky you were.
It's a political correctness, isn't it? You know, that's wrong.
All right, magnificent.